Welcome back, everybody, to the newest installment of Parleh Madness, powered by Duke's freshly crafted smoked meats. I'm your host, Luca Rosano, alongside my co-host, Jelani Reid. We are back to break down the March Madness field of 64. It has come, first round action, baby. I'm excited. Jelani's excited. And we are going to preview and give you our picks against the spread for 10 intriguing first round matchups. I mean, every matchup is intriguing when it comes to March Madness, but these are 10 matchups that I think are going to be very close games. It could very well go either way. So Jelani and I are going to run it down. We're going to make our picks against the spread, and then you can let us know if you agree with myself or Jelani. So we got a lot of games to get to the Jelani. Let's dive right into it. And we got a good
Do it.
one to start here. We got Michigan taking on Colorado State. I'm a
Mm,
Michigan fan, and I'm a little bit worried about this one. Michigan,
yeah,
2.5-point favorites here. Will the Wolverines get it done?
I think they will. I think this is a matchup where, Colorado State can win because they do know how to win games. They're 25-5 on the year. They're not a team to be slept on by any stretch. But when you're looking at Michigan, I understand they haven't had the best year. It's been a year of a lot of turmoil. Obviously, they just got Juwan Howard back.
Yeah.
Remember, guys, he was just suspended for a while, 5 games, the rest of the regular season. So he's back. I think having him back is actually going to be a big source of inspiration for this group. They're going to love that he's back on the sidelines. And with that being said, I think they'll use that to their advantage. This is a team, that will need their experience to show up. They have two guards who are seniors, Eli Brooks, and you're looking at Devontae Jones. Those are two guys that will definitely need to have a big impact in this one. And obviously, Hunter Dickinson in the paint, he's one of the better big men in the country. So watch out for him to probably give you something around 17 to 20 points, along with maybe 10 boards. We'll see if he could get us a double double. But yeah, I'm going to go with Michigan. And a fun fact actually is Michigan, one of the two higher seeds that is actually favored in the first round. We're looking at them and we're looking at Memphis in a game we'll talk about later. So it's intriguing. I think Michigan's going to get this one done, though.
Yeah, I agree. I got to go with my team. I got to go with Michigan in this spot. A lot of people were expecting them to be a bubble team. They got in comfortably, and
Yeah.
I think this is just a bad spot for Colorado State. I mean, terrible reward for the great season they've had to take on Michigan. That is getting Juwan Howard back after he had the altercation of the season. I don't know what he was thinking in that moment. But anyways, I think that's going to fuel this team. I think this team's going to play with some extra pep in their step, and Colorado State, I think, will have to jump out to an early lead to have a shot in this one. If they fall behind early, we could see Michigan win pretty comfortably. But it's hard to go against Michigan here. This is a team that they are going to, be looking to fuel their momentum here, and they're driving distance from Ann Arbor, so they're going to be in very, comfortable circumstances. And I really think this is going to be a game from start to finish that goes Michigan's way. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Michigan as well, -2.5. I think they're gonna take advantage of this matchup and they'll move on.
Yeah, and a lot of people were debating, like you said, if they should even be in the tournament. We don't see 17 and 14 teams in the tournament, guys. So this is actually rare. But they did have a really tough schedule. They play in one of the toughest conferences, the Big Ten. So their resume featured wins against Purdue, Ohio State, and San Diego State. They did have a nice resume, so that's why they're in this tournament. But yes, it is rare that we're seeing a team so close to being 500 in this spot. But yeah, I do agree with you. They will beat Colorado State outright and here on the spread. But now let's move to Boise State. We have them playing the 9th seed Memphis Tigers. It's going to be a very nice 8-9 matchup. Memphis is here. But do you think that they'll get it done? They are a team under Penny Hardaway. That's nice. But Boise State, they've been playing well as of late. Who do you take here?
I'm going with Memphis -2.5. Since Penny Hardaway's infamous press conference, what was it, late January, this team has turned it
Yep.
around. They've been cruising. The biggest improvement during this hot streak has been on the defensive end, and I think that's going to be huge here. And they've been able to take care of business both from the floor and beyond the arc. I mean, they have had so many impressive shot blocking outings during their run, and you look at 6'11" center Jalen Duren. He's proven to be the most impactful player on the roster on both ends. During the regular season, he led the AAC in rebounds at 7.5 and blocks at 2.2. And fellow big man DeAndre Williams also put up 11 points per game while hitting 50% of his field goal attempts. So this duo is going to be unstoppable. Hardaway squad is fully healthy finally. And I think this is the start of what they could be capable of doing. So yeah, I'm going to go with Memphis here. There was a lot of hype on this team coming in, and they've been living up to that hype as of late. And I think it's going to carry on over through at least this first round of the March Madness tournament.
Yeah, a lot of people I think here are going with Boise State because they are coming off of the Mountain West Championship over San Diego State. They are a top 30 team in terms of the net rating. So that's the NCAA evaluation tool. You're looking at how they do, they do play teams really tough depending on whether or not they're contenders or not. But I do think here I agree with you. Memphis should be the pick. You pointed it out. Jalen Duren, he's very, very good. I think he's going to be a household name if Memphis manages to win a few games in this tournament. So you're also looking at their athleticism. I think they're more athletic than Boise State is. And I think that athleticism is really going to start to help them as you move into the tournament. They did have a slow start to the year. Memphis did, but they have turned the corner. They have found their form since January. They're holding opponents to 38% shooting. So watch for that defense to really show up here against Boise State. That does, pose a threat in terms of scoring at times. But yeah, I think that the defense is going to show up. The athleticism is going to show up. And the Tigers, they actually they're holding something over these guys because they did knock out Boise State last year out of the NIT, the National Invitational Tournament. So they hold that over them already. I think now, just being a team that is actually favored in this spot as a higher seed in the first round, I think a lot of bettors are looking at Memphis and their talent and what they have with Penny Hardaway as the head coach. And I think this is the right pick, Memphis.
Yeah, I think these 8, 9 seeds are very intriguing. They hold a lot of weight in terms of potentially causing damage in the next round against the ones. I mean, ultimately, I don't see a major upset happening, but I think we'll get to the second round and we'll see some ones being tested a little bit as they pursue the national title. So I just want to put that out there. This year, I feel like the 8s and the 9s are very, very talented. Moving on now.
It's interesting. 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just interesting because the 8-9s, like you said, it's really a flip of the coin. The last year, though, we did see that the 8 seed did win 3 out of 4. So it's possible that if you go Boise, it could happen. But hey, you never know. You never know. So go Memphis.
And I got to tell you, Jelani, I don't know about you, but 8-9 matchups are the hardest to predict in this damn tournament.
Yes,
I'm telling you. I go back to like when I was like 16 trying to like figure out this bracket. I've always been bad at 8-9s. I don't know what it is.
I agree with you 100%.
So we'll see if the 8-9 is better for Jelani and I moving forward here. But we got a good matchup here. And we got South Dakota State taking on Providence. This is going to be an interesting one. Providence, 2-point favorites. Like I said, a lot of these games are very close with the spread. Here's another one. Who do you got?
I don't have Providence in this one. And I know a lot of people are looking at Providence saying to themselves that they're a 4 seed. They could pose a threat down the stretch, and play really tough against certain contenders in their region. But guys, I don't even have them winning this game outright. They might make me look foolish after this show. We don't know. But I'm leaning towards a team in South Dakota State that knows how to shoot the basketball. And I think Providence, if they overlook them in this spot, if they just think that, it's an easy 13 seed, we'll just ride this one out. We're Providence. We've been playing well all year. We've had good wins on our resume, all that. If they overlook this team, then I think that South Dakota State could come up here and win the game. They're actually one of my favorites in terms of Cinderellas this year. If they could get out of this first round and get things going, I really do think that you really have to watch for the Jackrabbits to really make some noise this year in this tournament. So yeah, I think that in terms of the spread picks, if you're looking out there for a team to pull off an upset, I would go with this game, and I would go with the 13th seed in this spot. South Dakota State, they shoot the ball at a high rate, one of the best shooting teams in the nation from the perimeter. So I don't know, will Providence be ready to handle that, right? I do think this ends up being a close game, and late down the stretch, I think that what South Dakota State can give you in terms of their shooting will be the difference in this one.
I think this is an upset spot. I love the Jackrabbits here as
Love
the
it.
number
Love it.
13 seed. And Providence, they have not had good history with this NCAA tournament. They're 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 NCAA tournament games. And you're talking about South Dakota. I mean, man, when you look at teams that have success, especially in terms of pulling off the upset, what is the common trait they all share? Shooting the basketball at a high level, particularly from the three. These are teams that are the classic case of living or dying by the three. And this Jackrabbits team is exactly that. I mean, they're shooting 44.2% from the three, more than 40 points higher than second place Colgate. So this team loves to shoot threes. Good luck trying to stop them. And they've won a ridiculous 21 games in a row. No one's talking about that either. They haven't lost in a very long time. And the Friars, though, they do have the edge defensively. So that's going to be an interesting battle here to see if they can limit the three-point shooting or try to contain it. But all in all, I think there's going to be too much offensive firepower to contain here. The Jackrabbits will hit a ton of threes. That will be the reason why they win this game. So I agree with you, Jelani. I think this is going to be an upset. Upset pick alert, number 13, South Dakota State to take down Providence.
I love it. I love the pick. And you pointed it out, 21 straight W's for this team. This is definitely one of the better teams in Division One that has flown under the radar as of right now. But now let's move to another game that is in the first round of this tournament this year. We have the Richmond Spiders. They're playing the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa, a team I've been talking about a lot. Okay, they are favored 10.5 points here. It is one of the bigger numbers in terms of today's show. Do you agree with that spread, or are you going with the dog?
I'm going with Iowa, and just a spoiler alert, Jelani has fully sold me on Iowa. I got this team making a run. I got them getting to a Final Four. I mean, this
Yes,
team is going to
sir.
be great to watch, and I'm hoping we're both right. I did a little bit of digging. I
Yeah.
really like this Iowa team. A lot of people are touting them as a dark horse that could bust a lot of brackets, especially in this region. And they're coming off of a big victory over Purdue to win the Big Ten title. That momentum is going to help the Hawkeyes here in the opening round on Thursday against Richmond. And you look at Iowa, I agree with the stat line or this spread, pardon me. Iowa scoring an average of 84 points per game, and they're giving up about 71 points per game. So it's just around that mark where these odds makers put the spread. So I think they will cover the number, and they've actually covered it 6 of their last 7. All which were in the Big Ten. So I really like that. Iowa is a team to look out for, and this team could very well make a run.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100% here. I think Iowa should be the pick. I know that it's a big spread, but there are plenty of games in this tournament. Yes, we do see close ones all the time, those buzzer beaters, those famous games that we've always seen. However, there are plenty of games where it does get ugly by the end of things and the score ends up being double digits. So I think this is one of those games. You're looking at, a guy I've been talking about a lot, Keegan Murray. He's probably going to be the X factor here, obviously, just because they rely on him so heavily in terms of their offensive production. He is one of the best scorers in the country right now. He puts up 24 points per game for you. So this spot could be anywhere from that 24 to like 28 points he might put in the bucket. So watch for him. Also watch for shooters like Bohannon. Bohannon, he's nice. He's really nice. He had a good run in the Big Ten tournament until the final. The final, he did, have a poor shooting night against Purdue despite the win. But prior to that, he had 17 against Northwestern. He put up 16 against Rutgers. And also he had a nice outing against Indiana. He gave you 12, 3, and 3. So he was doing multiple things on the court. I think Bohannon is going to be very important in this one. But yeah, as a team that is top 5 in scoring and very efficient offensively, I don't know if Richmond's going to be ready for this. I think Richmond hasn't played or, been successful against teams that score the ball like Iowa does. And I understand, the front court of Richmond actually knows how to score. They put up 40 points a night combined from their front court, but their guard play, I don't know if it's going to be as good as the guard play that we've been seeing from Iowa. So yeah, give me the Hawkeyes in an easy one, to be honest.
All right, we'll see if that pick goes well for the both of us. Next game here, it should be a good one. Again, a close game with the spread being very close, and that is Marquette taking on Jelani's North Carolina
Yeah,
Tar Heels. Are you
yeah.
going to be a homer with this pick? I think I know where you're going.
I'm going No, I'm not going Marquette. I'm going with North Carolina. Shout out to my Tar Heels, but I won't be a homer. I'll be objective. The Tar Heels have not had a great year. This is a team that has been all over the place, and I get it. We just got rid of our head coach for years. We had Roy Williams, and then he goes out the door, retires. Now Hubert Davis comes in. A lot of guys, moved. So it's a different team that we've seen from different years or years past. And this is also a team that isn't, it's taking on a new formula, right? So I think that the Tar Heels need to actually play hard to win this game. They cannot have lapses in play. They cannot sit back and relax because Marquette is coached by Shaka Smart. If you guys don't
Yeah.
remember, Shaka Smart, he's one of the better coaches in college basketball. He's coached the team to the Final Four before with VCU back then, and he did do a pretty good job in his last stop in Texas. So when you're looking at Shaka Smart, you're looking at what he can do with multiple programs. I think that Marquette is moving in the right direction. They have a talented roster. They like to move the pace. They're a quick pace team. Carolina could counter that with their pace, but I do expect for Carolina bettors, expect for them to slow it down because they have one of the better pick and rolls in this tournament. And the pick and roll through Armando Bacot, who's he actually put up the school record for double doubles this season. He has 24 on the year for the Carolina Tar Heels. Watch for him to be the guy in this one. But yeah, when you have him being your big, rolling with the pick and rolls by RJ Davis, who's talented at the guard spot, and Caleb Love, of course, who's a playmaker himself, I think is going to be the difference, in this one. But yeah, Carolina, they've been up and down. They did have a good end to the regular season, winning 5 in a row, including that win against Duke, which I loved. I just loved the fact that we went in there and won that game. But anyway, they have had good wins on the year. However, there have been games where they just haven't showed up. And we're looking at specifically a game like we saw in the ACC semifinal against Virginia Tech that was not supposed to be a rout, but it was. And that's why I'm saying to myself, if they have a bad day, then it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be a double-digit loss because they tend to relax a lot. So they can't relax here. I expect them to crash the boards. They're top 20 in terms of rebounding. So yeah, give me the Tar Heels in this one. I think it will be close, but by the end of things, I just believe that Brady Manick, his 3 ball will drop, and his 3-pointers will be the difference in this one for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think it's going to come down to one thing in particular, and it's rebounds. I think North Carolina will get lots and lots of rebounds in this game, creating second chance opportunities. You look at Marquette's issues from February and on, it was mostly they were getting out rebounded by the other team. And I think this, Golden Eagles team, they are relatively young, going to be tasting this dance for the first time. A lot of these guys. And we saw during the season, they were dominated by underclassmen, and they're not a big team. They're aggressive. Right. They generate steals, yes, but they're not a big team. And I really think this is where North Carolina can cause a lot of their damage. They lead the ACC in rebounding margin. So I do like them in this spot. I think this is going to be a very good game. I mean, Marquette did finish best in the Big East at defending the 3, so their defense has been on par. But ultimately, I think North Carolina will win the battle on the glass, and that will lead them to getting this win. And I'll pay the price of -3. I think the Tar Heels do find a way to get by and win this game. All right, before we get into the next game, I do want to mention that this is Parleh Madness. We're going to be coming at you all March Madness long. And of course, Parleh Madness is powered by Duke's freshly crafted smoked meats. Duke's products are freshly crafted with real ingredients. And yeah, definitely go have a try of Duke's products because they are great. Again, Parleh Madness is powered by Duke's.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Dukes. And now let's move to our next game on our schedule. Here we have UCLA and Akron. Akron, a 14-point underdog against the UCLA Bruins. Who do you take in this one?
UCLA is another one of those teams people are touting as a team that could bust brackets and get out of the region and possibly make a run. I mean, they did it last year. This is too big of a number for me, though, Jelani. I do expect them to win. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to go crazy and say Akron's going to beat them outright, but I have them covering the spread. I think 14 is way too many points. So that's why I'm saying UCLA is going to win this game, but Akron's going to cover. They came into this tournament very battle tested. I'm talking about UCLA. I think this is a team that is really good at executing threes, but Akron is a decent shot making team. And going back to what I was saying before about you're going to have these teams, especially in the first round, that you're going to see live and die by the three. I get that vibe from this Akron team, and they will give themselves a puncher's chance for much of this game. UCLA will win, but I think it will be between 6 and 10 points. So I will go with UCLA. They are looking like a number 2 seed and not a 4. That's why they've been really good this season, and a lot of people have them, doing big things. But I think this Akron team, for as well as they shoot the ball, they're a very underrated Mid-American Conference team. I think they'll show up here and they'll actually impress a lot of people with their performance against a very good Bruins team.
Yeah, this is a big spread. It is a 14, but I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with UCLA. I'm looking at the fact that they do have several of those guys from last year's Final Four team. They're back. Johnny Juzang, and you're looking at Jaime Jaquez. That's their duo that, are going to be household names once again in March this year. And then you're also looking at Tiger Campbell. He's a very good point guard. He sees the floor properly. And I think this will be yet another good tournament for Campbell in that aspect. They have more size in terms of this matchup with Akron. I think Akron lacks size, and also the real key thing that you need to know as a bettor is your teams, if you're going to place your bets, they need to have experience. I think that the experienced groups come March are just better off. And we're seeing that UCLA under Mike Cronin, they're well coached. They've been here. We saw what happened last year. As a first 4 team last year, they still managed to get through and push through and almost beat Gonzaga in that Final Four. And now fast forward to this year, they have been playing well during the regular season. They have looked to be one of the contenders for the title. So I don't see them dropping it here just because they have the guys that have been there and that, have given us quality minutes when it matters most. So they understand this spot. I don't think that Akron really does. We'll see if they prove me wrong. But yeah, I'm just not sure in that aspect. They're young. Akron has no seniors on their team. So that's where I'm talking about the lack of experience, the size that I spoke about. I think that's going to be a big thing. UCLA has one starter under 6'7". So, hey, they have the size, they have the athleticism. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. And I think that they could hurt Akron in multiple ways. They have critical ball movement, in their offense. So when you talk about Juzang and Jaquez and all these guys that they pose a big threat for a team like Akron, who's just getting here and on the big stage. So yeah, give me UCLA in a big one.
Yeah, I think that inexperience for Akron will be very tough to overcome. Again, I'm going with those 3-ball teams. I'm hoping they could get a late backdoor cover type of win here, because I know UCLA is definitely not a team you want to be messing with. I think they will be making a run this tournament. Okay, this is going to be a fun one. Loyola Chicago. This has been a team that's been synonymous with making magical March runs, and they're going to be taking on Ohio State in a very interesting first-round matchup. Who do you got in this spot?
I got Loyola Chicago in this one. Yes, Sister Jeans. Shout out to her. Shout out to what they've done over the last few years. I know, am I being a prisoner of the moment just because I understand who they are? They've really become the poster child for Cinderellas, and they are a 10 seed yet again. So a lot of people looking around the landscape of this year's bracket are, leaning towards Loyola Chicago once again as a Cinderella. But this game will be tough. It won't be easy whatsoever, as Ohio State has EJ Liddell. He's somebody that you guys should know at this point, because he does everything for this team. He leads them in all major categories: points, rebounding, blocks. He does it on both sides of the ball. So in order for Ohio State to win this game, and not only win this game, but make things happen in the tournament, EJ Liddell will have to show up for them. And this is a team that did beat Duke. They beat Seton Hall. They beat
Yeah,
Illinois at the end of the year. So they have good wins on their resume, but I gotta go with the team that went to the Final Four in 2018 as an 11. They went to the Sweet 16 last time around as an 8 seed. They hit their shots. That is Loyola Chicago. They hit their shots within the top 20 in the country in terms of field goal percentage. So watch out for that. And a quick note for you: the number 10 seeds are 5-2 against the number 7 seeds in the last 2 tournaments. So that's a nice stat.
I
If
like
you're
that.
going with the 10 seed here, so yeah, give me Loyola Chicago in this one.
I like that, man. That's a good stat. And I've been looking at those stats more and more during this tournament. Look, you could overlook those things, but it matters, especially
It
when it
does,
comes
yeah.
to these matchups and seeing the success of certain seeds over the other. It definitely matters. And yeah, I'm going with Loyola Chicago here in this spot. I think we're both prisoner of the moments. I mean, you look at Loyola, this is a team that they've made runs in, the last couple of tournaments. I believe, the last 3 tournaments they've made a run. This is fueled by the energy of Sister Jean, that fan base. It's
Yep.
crazy. There will be fans there. Sister Jean most likely will be in attendance this time around, which will be great. We look at the Ramblers. They're coming in with a lot of momentum. They won the Missouri Valley Conference tournament as the number 4 seed, and they haven't lost in regulation since February 19th. That's almost a month
Wow.
ago. So
Wow.
this is a team that is playing red hot right now. They don't know how to lose, and they're going to be going into this tournament looking to win in the first round of the NCAA tournament for the 3rd time in as many trips. So this team, they will get it done again. I think it's going to be a great battle. It's going to come down to the end, but they got a well-balanced attack. And under first-year coach Drew Valentine, it's been a very good tenure so far, and I think that tenure is just going to get a little bit better when they win this one.
All right. And yeah, when you're looking at this one, guys, it's funny. Both teams averaged the exact amount of points per game, 73.8 points per game. So that's an interesting note. But yeah, let's go with the Ramblers in this one. I gotta be the prisoner of the moment, man. I love what they do, and shout out to Sister Jean. But now let's move to Illinois. Illinois is a 4 seed that a lot of people are looking at. They're playing Chattanooga. Chattanooga is a big underdog here, or not that big, but you're looking at the spread. There's 7.5 here in favor of Illinois. So do you like that number, or do you think that Chattanooga could pull off an upset here?
Chattanooga, I got in this spot, and that's a team that I got going to the Sweet 16. I think this is going to be the surprise of
Okay.
March. And you look out how they got into this thing. It was a buzzer beater by David John Batiste, and that was crazy to see. I mean, to get into the tournament off a buzzer beater, like I had to go back and watch the highlights. It was crazy, like just to see everybody going nuts. Like that's March personified. So this Chattanooga team already got a taste of that, and I think they're going to get more of a taste of that as they will be able to, I think, dominate the guard play in this one. You look at Malachi Smith too. Him and Baptiste are some of the better guards in the NCAA, and this is going to be the reason, in my opinion, that Chattanooga does get past Illinois. And you look at Illinois, they have been a disappointing team, and this is a team that they usually have been that team that goes one and done, or they're a team that is expected to do a lot more and they fall short of that mark. And you look at what they struggle with. They struggle to force turnovers. They rank 325th in the country. And I think that's going to be a problem against Chattanooga. That is one of the better offensive mid-major teams in the country. And they're also 58th in the country in effective field goal percentage. And they're 85th in turnover percentage. So if you're looking for a big money line type of upset, this may be the game. Chattanooga, I think they'll get it done. And we know in March, you need excellent guard play, guys who could get hot, guys who can hit big time shots. They hit one big time shot to get to the spot. I think that magic will continue for them here against Illinois.
Yeah, you said it best. Illinois does let you down because last year I had them winning the whole thing and they lost in the second round. But I do think that you should go with them this time around. Chattanooga does pose a big threat. You pointed out a lot of reasons why, but one guy that I don't think can be stopped is Kofi Coburn. That's the menace in the paint. I call him the menace in the paint for Illinois because he does it in terms of scoring and rebounding. That's what you want from your bigs. He's 21.1 points per game, which is 12th in the nation, and then he's 8th in the nation at 10.6 rebounds per game. So this is a guy that's definitely one of the best players among any team in this bracket. So if Illinois wants to do anything this time of year, they need him to show up. They need him to be himself, and I think that's what we're gonna get here. I don't see anyone from Chattanooga really, shutting him down, slowing him down. So I'm looking at that, and also they do have some parts around their offense that could help him out because we have seen they ended up being top 5 in offensive efficiency. So in terms of that area, in terms of the offense, I think their offense will show up in this one. I understand what happened last year was, clearly disappointing, but they want to get that out of their heads, and they want their fans to really look forward to this run. And that's why I think they're actually going to get off on a right foot in this one. But yeah, in terms of just their defense, they need to, they need to commit turnovers. And we did talk about that in terms of the lack of turnovers that they really had on the year in certain matchups. And I think this is a spot where they need to steal the ball in order to create more chances for themselves offensively. If we don't see that, then yes, that's where this game could become close. And if it is a close game, then that's where I become worried as an Illinois bettor. But I don't think that this one will end up being close. I think throughout the first half, it might be. But once the mid second half happens, I do believe that Illinois will show why they are one of the better teams in this side of the bracket. And yeah, I think that they're going to win this one outright and give me them on the 7.5 spread.
Yes, Illinois is a 7.5-point favorites. Just some additional notes: Illinois 3 consecutive 20-win seasons, and going back to Chattanooga, they are a number 13 seed, and I do have a stat for number 13 seeds. The last 12 times, number 13 seeds are 5-7. So not that bad of a mark if you do want to bet with the underdog in this spot. Okay, next game. We got Iowa State taking on LSU. LSU, 4-point favorites. Who do you got?
This one's tough. This one's very tough. I'm going to go with Iowa State, and it's an upset pick because I'm seeing a lot of people, they are, flip-flopping in this one. A lot of people aren't really sold on LSU, and I get it. They aren't actually a basketball school by any stretch, and, they don't believe in them, but they could pose a threat at the 6th spot. But I do see them being vulnerable, so that's why I'm going to go with Iowa State. I'm just believing in how they've been playing this year. They've been elite defensively on the year. They rank among the top teams in terms of adjusted defensive efficiency. They rank near the top in terms of turnover percentage, and also in terms of 3-point percentage allowed. So when you're looking at all those things, you gotta lean that way. So LSU, again, they are a team that could win, but everything has to go right for them to win. And if you're a higher seed and you're looking at a team that's possibly vulnerable in terms of their defense, you got to take advantage of that. And I think that's where we're going to see, Iowa State come through and pull through. You're looking at a guy like Isaiah Brockington. I think that he's going to be an X factor in this one. You're seeing how he's put up 17.5 points per game. So that's 18 points per game. So watch for him to possibly even push himself into the 20-point range in this matchup. So watch for him. But overall, I think that this is another upset pick. Remember, a lot of upsets do happen within the first 2 rounds. And when I'm looking across the board, I do see that this is a matchup where LSU is in trouble. I think they're really in trouble. They need to show up. They can't have mistakes, because if they do commit mistakes, then I do think that Iowa State's going to manage to win this game.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Both these teams are so close. They're similar in a lot of ways. Both teams struggle on the offensive side of the court. Both are dominant defensively. You look at Iowa State, they rank 181st in effective field goal percentage, and LSU ranks 201st. And then these two teams are both top 20 in the country in defensive efficiency. The Tigers are 6th, the Cyclones are 18th. So if you are betting over under, I probably would look at the under, knowing that both these teams are very good defensively. I think it's going to be a close game, and it's going to come down to a possession or two. So I am going to go with the points here. I'm going to take the +4 with Iowa State. This could be a classic March game that goes down to the wire. And I do like what Iowa State brings to the table. They bring a very unconventional style. And I think this is going to be a tough spot for LSU. This is not going to be an easy feat for them. Yeah, I'm going to go with Iowa State in this one. I think they will get it done. So give me the points in the spot.
All right, and now let's move to the final game that we have for you on tap. We have Davidson and Michigan State. Michigan State is favored 1.5, so it's a small spread. Do
Yeah.
you take Michigan State here?
Oh, man, I think Steph Curry and Draymond Green got a bet. I think whoever
Yep, yep.
wins, the other guy's got to win the jersey, which is cool. Obviously, Draymond Green went to Michigan State and Steph Curry went to Davidson. Crazy. I still remember watching as a kid, man. Steph Curry making that incredible
Yep,
run with
yep.
Davidson. You know what's funny? This Davidson team can be up to similar magic. Maybe not as far as where Steph took them, but
No,
they're
that's
being
right. That's
heavily
right.
touted as a team that can not only win this round, but possibly even give some challenges to Duke if that matchup were to take place. But I'm getting too ahead of myself. As far as this game goes, I'm taking Davidson. If you couldn't have already figured it out, I'm taking them +1. I think they +1.5, pardon me. I think they win this game outright. The Wildcats won the A10 regular season title this season. Only 3 of their losses came against teams that failed to make the NCAA tournament, and one of those teams were Dayton. You look at Davidson, they have 4 players who average at least 11.8 points per game. They're an excellent offensive team. It averages 75.6 points per game. They're 58th. That's 58th most in the country, and they have the 8th best 3-point shooting team in NCAA at 38.65%. So Stephen Curry's smiling once he hears that. I think Davidson's really going to take it to Michigan State. This is going to be a mini upset, if you will, and this is a Davidson team that I think you're going to have to look out for. They could be up to a little bit of something if they get through the first round. So I'm going with Davidson.
Yeah, man, I'm going with Davidson as well. And you pointed it out, Steph Curry those days. That's one of the reasons why I love college ball so much. He was my favorite at the time. So I'm looking at Davidson though this year and this edition of the team. They do shoot the ball really well from distance. They are nearly a 40% shooting team. They're versatile. They know how to defend. So and also they can be they're tough to defend. So they don't just have a pretty nice defense. They know how to make your defense hurt as well. So Michigan State has a lot to deal with in this spot. And when you're looking at Michigan State, Tom Izzo, he's one of the best coaches in college basketball history. We know this, but they do have letdowns year in and year out.
Yeah.
And I think when you're looking at the recent years, they haven't been the same team. And I think this is a new group in Michigan State. So this is not the teams of the past. Like you mentioned, the teams where Draymond Green and company were there. They're nowhere near that level. This is a team that's in transition. This is a team that's young. This is a team that, to me, could be one of the seeds that falls to a higher seed. And they're a middle of the pack team, both offensively and defensively. So they're okay. They're an average club, but when you're watching and seeing their resume, that you do see the win that they had against UConn this year. UConn is a 5, remember that, and they did beat Purdue. Purdue is a 3 seed, one of my favorite picks among the favorites this year. But they've also lost to lesser competition. You're looking at their losses to teams like Northwestern and teams like Penn State, who, they're not even a threat at all. So they are vulnerable. They are a team that does let up at times, and you can't let up against a team that's very versatile, like I said, in terms of just their scoring. They have 4 players that average over 11 points. So hey, Davidson, they could make you really struggle defensively from multiple places, multiple areas. So yeah, give me the Davidson squad in this one in an upset, to be honest.
They spread the wealth in terms of shooting. I think it's going to be that
Yeah.
type of game where Davidson just racks it up from downtown, and that's the reason why they could win this game. All right, that will conclude our coverage and picks for 10 highly anticipated games in the first round of the NCAA tournament. It's going to be an exciting time, and we welcome everybody to bet responsibly. If you agree with my picks Let me know if you agree with Jelani's picks. Let us know. And yeah, we'll see who wins this head-to-head. Jelani and I do agree on a lot of these games.
Yep.
So that could be good news for bettors who do listen to us. But we want to thank everybody for listening and watching. This is Parlay Madness powered by Duke's freshly crafted smoked meats. Jelani and I will be back at it again, previewing some of the best matchups of round 2 in just a couple days. You definitely don't want to miss that. On behalf of myself, Luca Rosano, and Jelani Goodrich Reid, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you all again in the next one.